Hello, good morning, good morning. My little one is next door watching Toy Story, so he might come through at some point, but also I'm aware that I can hear Toy Story in the background, but I don't want to shut the door because if I do, hi Lauren, if I do shut the door, then there'll be a complete meltdown. So hi Fiona, hi, morning everybody. So welcome. So today is obviously day one of the challenge. I'm really thrilled to be doing this and also thrilled how many people actually signed up. So there's been over 350 people have signed up to the challenge, so it's phenomenal and way more than I expected. Hi Fiona. Hi. So I thought today I would give you some things that will hopefully help you in terms of supporting you with this challenge and supporting you with the tapping. So thinking about thoughts, so today's topic is thoughts. And hi Mims, how are you? Nice to see you. Today's is all about thoughts and working with thoughts. And there's different categories of thoughts, aren't there? There's like good thoughts, bad thoughts. There's things to do sort of thoughts, aren't they? To-do lists. Like a lot of people in here are really like their to-do lists. So no, to-do lists are big things in this group, and a lot of the mums that I work with, and also thoughts going round and round and round. So that kind of like that sort of like the way that I describe it in my own head is like it's like fireworks shooting off in different directions. So, but the things with thoughts create action. So whenever we have a thought, we start to create action. So if you think about if you visualize something, like you can actually almost sort of feel yourself doing it, and thoughts do that. They kind of create action. So there's like a reaction to every sort of thought. So every thought that you have creates like a reaction. And that reaction might be positive, so you might have a sort of thought, oh, like it was so cute this morning when my child woke up and he was like smiling, he had a really good sleep. my child doesn't sleep. So you can have these like really sort of positive sort of thoughts, and they can make you feel great, can't they? But also you can then start to have like thoughts like, oh, like we're going to be late, like everything's really stressful, I've got this big work project, oh God, I was really rubbish yesterday when I did this thing, I didn't do that thing very well, I really missed out on X, Y or Z, or I should have thought about doing this instead. So you can have all these other sort of thoughts and these sort of negative thoughts, and these sort of thoughts often really start to really challenge your, really start challenging you, don't they? Because they're a bit like the inner critic that's just going round and round. So that's the kind of work that I want you to do today, is really work on those sort of thoughts that are really difficult, the sort of the inner critic thoughts, the kind of bundle of thoughts that go round and really like to make us react in certain ways, or do things do things in a very specific way, or like to keep us straight, like to make sure that we get places on time, that we're perfect at work, that we're perfect mothers. These sort of thoughts about all the shoulds, like I should be doing better at that, I should be able to manage that a bit better, I shouldn't be late. All those kind of thoughts there that they're like a big stick that we like to beat ourselves up with. Those sort of thoughts, those sort of worries about being late, worries about not being perfect, worries about not getting things done. Those kind of thoughts, the ones that kind of create a reaction. And I just want you to think about what is the reaction that they're creating. So often they create an emotion, so it could be make you feel angry, frustrated, disappointed, upset, sad, the whole host of emotions. So really think about like how does it they make you feel, and kind of notice if there's any sort of physical reaction to with these thoughts. So is there like when you're having these thoughts that you were rubbish yesterday at that piece of work that you had to submit, or you were rubbish yesterday with your children because they watched too much TV, or you were, whatever that thought that you're beating yourself up with, just kind of notice like what's the physical reaction that you're having with that as well. So what's kind of going on there? Because really working with these thoughts and really getting to grips with these thoughts is key, because that is like where it all starts. So starts with these thoughts. So start acknowledging these thoughts, the volume of these thoughts. And when you're tapping, so when you're using like either the script that I sent through, or else look at the instruction video that I put up last night, that I uploaded, and it's totally up to you if you want to use the script that I did, or if you want to go off pace. It really doesn't matter. It's completely up to you how you want to use this challenge. This challenge is here for you, so you use it as you want to use it. So if you want to use it specifically with the scripts that I'm sending through, that is brilliant. But if you want to just go off piste and use the introduction video and make up your own scripts, you do that in whatever way that you want to do it. And if you want to work on thoughts every day this week, you do that. But if you want to work on different things, that's completely fine as well. So start with tapping out all the elements of like the thoughts. So the script you got through this morning to do with the thoughts, tap on all the different elements. So if for example, like your thought is around like how stressful meal times are. So that used to be a big thing for me. So meal times were like when I first started getting into tapping, because I used to get so stressed about it because I was exhausted by dinner time. I was fed up always having to cook. I was really resentful of my husband having to not having to make meal times. I was always the one left dealing with the shit, and then I would lose my shit. So that was kind of how I got into tapping many years ago, was around those sort of meal times, because I would just get so angry and really overwhelmed with that whole in that whole time period, because I was tired and fed up, and end of the day, and the kids were tired and fed up and cranky, and it just became too much. So starting tapping those thoughts, things like, oh, I really resent my husband, he never has to do this, I don't know what to cook, the kids don't eat it, probably just all going to be shit anyway, no one's going to sit down and enjoy this dinner time. Just tap on all the things that you're feeling, just express it, just get them out. All those things that are going round and round and round, just tap on them. Just absolutely tap on them. So tap on all the elements, and then tap on how these sort of thoughts make you feel. So like when I think about all these thoughts, it just makes me feel really stressed and really overwhelmed, and I get a bit panicked, and I can feel like my chest getting tight and my heart palpitating. You can just tap on all those sort of feelings as well. It's totally up to you. So I sent you a script which is really basic, but you can do whatever you want. Behind it, and then tap on what's going on behind those thoughts. So like, what is the fear? Like, so what is like the fear? And like for me, the fear was that it wasn't going to be like a perfect dinner, or the fear was like, I was brought up in a very Italian household where we all had like homemade meals. Like if I didn't have a homemade meal or didn't produce one, then I felt like a complete failure. So I'd have these like big, huge, like I'd make like lasagnas, like nuts things, you know, like completely nuts things to try and do and try and feed your children. So I'd have these like homemade pasta one night. One of my friends was like, "You're bonkers." I'd be like making homemade pasta. No, totally nonsense. So what's behind the fear? So the fear was I wasn't good enough. So the fear was that because I'm not making these homemade meals, like I'm a failure, like because I'm not able to produce this food for my children and get them to eat it and be like the perfect like 1960s housewife. Because remember, I was balancing 3 children. Don't know if anybody knows anything about me, but I was balancing 3 children who were very, very close in age, and lots of other things. So my fear was I wasn't this like perfect 1960s housewife. So tapping on that thing that you're scared of. What is it you're scared of? Scared that you're not good enough. Scared that you're not matching your expectations. So, and why is that a bad thing? Like, who really cares? Who's really judging this? And it took me a long time to really work out that actually, wasn't I a much better mum when I was calmer? So if the kids had beans on toast rather than this like really complicated meals, and actually I could laugh with them and we could like make silly jokes about the beans or something, that actually I was a much better mum than I was getting so stressed out about being a perfect mum. So when we're tapping round, start doing some acceptance. So if that was me, what I would have tapped on in terms of thoughts around meal times, just to illustrate it, so this isn't necessarily for you, but just to illustrate it, would have been like tapping, like I'm really angry that I'm having to make meals all the time and my husband's not having to do it and I'm having to do it, and I'm trying to do all this stuff and nobody's helping me. You know, just whatever the thoughts were, and it's making me feel panicked and my heart's racing and I'm finding it really difficult and I feel a bit panicked. And my fear is that I'm actually completely failing and the kids aren't going to be eating healthy meals, homemade meals, and that means that I'm not a good mum. So tap in those sort of things. But the truth is actually, what is a good mum? Like, what is that? And maybe my belief here is wrong, that actually maybe actually need to think about this And actually, maybe a good mum is a mum who can just sit and laugh with her kids and not worry about making like the perfect lasagna. And actually, I'm doing okay. Like, I am doing okay. And I've got through all these meal times before, and I can get through another meal time. And it doesn't matter if it's late. It doesn't matter. And just starting to do some of that self-compassion, reassurance, kindness to yourself, etc. So, and it can make a huge difference coming from that place rather than from the place of like anger at myself. So, self-compassion. Has anybody got any questions about any of that? So I'm really happy to answer any questions, but that's just to start giving you some ideas about this and ideas about how to deepen the work that you're doing. Now, it's completely up to you if you want to do that. You don't have to do that, but I'm always really happy to answer any questions here on the live, or I'm happy to answer any questions that you just pop in the group at any point in time. So, and I know that that people might feel uncomfortable sharing things live, that, you know, can take a bit of time to build up that confidence, and I totally know to get that, so don't worry about it. If you need to, you can PM me, and that's absolutely fine, or send me an email. So just to remember that I've put there's a free prize for everybody who does all the EFT scripts for the week, so the 5 that you get each day, and also if you watch the videos. So put a wee emoji or something like I've done it in the accountability thread, which will come out at 9:45 just after this. Here to answer any questions over the week. Tomorrow night there's a Q&A at 7 p.m. So again, if you want to keep any questions till then, I'm really happy to do that. Oh, so that was really when my membership group was opened, was because of that. So one night I think I've said this before, last night possibly, but when I was tapping when I had Arthur 2 years ago, he didn't sleep, he still doesn't sleep. There was one night I was up 3 times with Arthur, and I was absolutely knackered, and I felt so angry and frustrated by this whole thing. I felt so angry and frustrated, and then I started catastrophizing. I was like, how am I going to get kids to school tomorrow? How am I going to manage? How am I going to manage if I've had no sleep? I had all these thoughts that this is going to go on forever. And I just stopped, and I just started to tap, and I was like, well, actually, like, okay, I'm really struggling with this tonight. It's really difficult, it's really hard, but actually I accept myself, like, for having these feelings. I'm allowed to be struggling just now. I'm not getting any sleep. Of course I feel this way. And then, but this is going to pass. Like, at some point in time he will sleep. And tomorrow I will manage, because I've managed before and I can manage again. And I would do a lot of that kind of tapping, like, so I've managed before, I can do it again. This will end. At some point in time, he will sleep through the night, and it's going to be okay. So he still doesn't sleep through the night. He's 2, but yeah. But I used to get really angry as well. So I hope that helps, Louise. So I'm just going to see if it does. I was really surprised about typing negative emotion as well. As the thought behind it is really helpful. That's good. I'm really glad that helped, Fiona. And I know, Jacqueline, you're struggling as well. So it's really hard. So I get that. And I've just seen Bryony's message, sorry. So you tap when you're kind to yourself. Yeah, so normally I tap on the negative emotion first. So all the things that we're really struggling with that are going round and round and round, just to acknowledge them and to feel into them. Then once our system is started to regulate and started to feel a bit calmer, so never at the start, but once it starts to feel a bit calmer and we're starting to be able to breathe a bit more easily, then I would then start to tap on some sort of self-compassion, some sort of kindness, some sort of reframes. So reframes would be trying to see it in a different light. So reframes might be going back to that sleep issue when if your child's up all night and you start catastrophizing it, you start to reframe it and sort of say, well, actually, like, this will end. Like, at some point in time he will sleep. Of course he will. Like, there's in the whole lifespan of humans, there's never been an adult who still slept in their mum's bed. So be able to reframe it and think much more rationally about it. So bring in the rational thought about it. So the rational thought will be that at some point in time he will actually sleep and it will get better. So and a bit of kindness to yourself for actually having these feelings, because often what can happen is that if you think, like the best description I can think about is thinking about a coach, and you, sorry, Arthur's about to come through. Thinking about a coach and then thinking about having feelings. You can come up, sweetheart. And so if you think about a coach, you can just say hi. Are you going to go again? So thinking about a coach and having these feelings, that this coach will, if this coach is really, 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 really nasty, so here's this part of you that's struggling. So this part of you is really struggling with it. And if you've got a coach that is really angry with you, so this is another part of you. So if you've got this coach that's really angry at this part of you, then this part of you that gets angry is going to get more and more and more angry, isn't it? It's going to get more and more and more agitated. So it's going to start getting more anxious, more worried, thinking it's wrong for having these feelings. But if instead you can develop some kindness and you can do some soothing to this part of you, this part of you will start to calm down, will start to feel much like it'll start to be, okay, I'm allowed to have these feelings, okay, that's okay. And those feelings will start to go. But the more angry you get yourself for having these feelings, then the more this unease will build. So I'll talk about it much more on the anxiety session on Thursday, but compassion is really important. So I'm just going to see, that's fine. Louisa just said that's fine. Kate's got a message. This week, do we wait until we feel those negative feelings, or should we give ourselves... I think you should, it's totally up to you. You have negative feelings all the time. I've not yet met one person who doesn't have negative feelings at some point in time. So there's always going to be something that you can tap on. There's always going to be something that you can work on. So my thought is for every single day this week is to at least set aside 5 times and just do one bit of work. I have yet to meet a person who feels good all the time about everything. And if they do, then they're lying. So, essentially, so thanks Fiona, he is adorable, yes, maybe not so often at 2 o'clock in the morning, but yeah, he is adorable. So that's great. I'm really glad that I helped Bryony. So any more questions I'm happy to answer. There's live Q&A tomorrow night. I'll put up a post tomorrow to ask people to look out for questions, to put up some questions, and I'll answer them tomorrow night. And anything else you want me to answer, just please pop it in the group, and I'm really happy to help. I am with Arthur today, so today I won't be as responsive as I am on other days. So we're about to go to the post office and do some other stuff. So, but I'm working full all of tomorrow, so I will be around tomorrow to answer any questions tomorrow. So anyhow, have a lovely day and let me know how you get on. Take care. Bye-bye.